Assalamu alaikum, this is Maria Zulfikar welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Advisory Council approves July Uprising Protection and Liability Ordinance 2026. 100 more appeals against cancellation of nomination papers in national polls disposed of on 6th day to continue till January 18. We must vote yes in referendum to let youth get discrimination-free country, says Dr. Ali Riaz in Chattogram. Charges against Shojib Wazir Joy and Junaid Ahmed Polok in case of crimes against humanity to be framed on January 21. Elections for Pabna 1 and 2 constituencies to be held on February 12 as per boundaries set by Election Commission. Iran suspends execution of death row convict Irfan Soltani. And Bangladesh Cricket Board releases Director Nazmul from responsibilities following cricketers' boycott. BPL Dhaka phase stalled. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The government today gave final approval to the draft of the July Mass Uprising Protection and Liability Determination Ordinance 2026, granting indemnity to the participants in the 2024 July Uprising. The Council of Advisors gave the approval at its weekly meeting at the Chief Advisor's office here, with Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus in the chair. After the meeting, Law Advisor Professor Dr. Asif Nazrul and Chief Advisor Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam briefed the media at the Foreign Service Academy in the capital this afternoon. Asif Nazrul said the government formulated the ordinance as per its earlier commitment to ensure legal protection for the July Uprising participants. The law defines political resistance as activities aimed at restoring democratic governance by challenging and ending the rule of the fascist government. Under this ordinance, participants involved in such activities will be exempted from criminal responsibility and legal prosecution. In addition to the indemnity ordinance, the Advisory Council also gave its final and policy approval to Microfinance Bank Ordinance 2026, Registration Second Amendment Ordinance 2026, the Protection and Conservation of Fish Amendment Ordinance 2026.
রাজনৈতিক প্রতিরোধের উদ্দেশ্যে সংগঠিত কার্যাবলী থেকে জুলাই গণঅভ্যুত্থানকারীদের দায়মুক্তি দেওয়া হয়েছে। রাজনৈতিক প্রতিরোধ বলতে আমরা বুঝিয়েছি ফ্যাসিস্ট সরকারের পতনের মাধ্যমে গণতান্ত্রিক শাসন ব্যবস্থা পুনরুদ্ধারের লক্ষ্যে সংগঠিত যে কার্যাবলী ছিল সে সমস্ত কার্যাবলীর ফৌজদারি দায় দায়িত্ব থেকে জুলাই গণঅভ্যুত্থানকারীদের দায়মুক্তি দেওয়া হয়েছে। এখন প্রক্রিয়াটা কি হবে? প্রক্রিয়া হচ্ছে অলরেডি যদি কোনো মামলা হয়ে থাকে জুলাই গণঅভ্যুত্থানকারীদের বিরুদ্ধে ফৌজদারি মামলা, রাজনৈতিক প্রতিরোধের উদ্দেশ্যে সংগঠিত কার্যাবলীর কারণে যদি কোনো ফৌজদারি মামলা হয়ে থাকে তাহলে সেই মামলাগুলো প্রত্যাহার করার পদক্ষেপ সরকার নেবে এবং এখন থেকে নতুন কোনো মামলা করা তাদের বিরুদ্ধে জুলাই আগস্টে সংগঠিত রাজনৈতিক প্রতিরোধের উদ্দেশ্যে সংগঠিত কার্যাবলীর দায় দায়িত্ব থেকে যদি কোনো এর জন্য যদি কোনো নতুন মামলা করা হয় সেই নতুন মামলা করা যাবে না। এখন কোনো হত্যাকাণ্ড ব্যক্তিগত এবং সংকীর্ণ স্বার্থে জুলাই গণঅভ্যুত্থানের সাথে রিলেটেড না, রাজনৈতিক প্রতিরোধের উদ্দেশ্যের সাথে রিলেটেড না, লোভের বশবর্তী হয়ে বা প্রতিশোধ স্পৃহা থেকে ব্যক্তিগত এবং সংকীর্ণ স্বার্থে কেউ যদি হত্যাকাণ্ড ঘটায় তাহলে তাকে দায় মুক্তি দেওয়ার উদ্দেশ্যে আইন করা হয় নাই। আইনটা করা হয়েছে এই ফ্যাসিস্ট সরকারের পতনের মাধ্যমে গণতান্ত্রিক ব্যবস্থা পুনরুদ্ধারের জন্য সংগঠিত কার্যাবলী এবং সেই কার্যাবলীতে কালেক্টিভ ছিলেন তাদেরকে দায় মুক্তি দেওয়া হয়েছে।
মাইক্রো ফিন্যান্স ব্যাংক অর্ডিন্যান্স 2026-এর খসড়া নীতিগত ও চূড়ান্ত অনুমোদন হয়েছে। আজকে ডাক সেবা অধ্যাদেশ 2026-এর খসড়া আলোচিত হয়েছে। এটা সামনের সপ্তাহে মিটিং এ বা তারপরে মিটিং এ আসবে। আজকে রেজিস্ট্রেশন উইদিন ব্র্যাকেট সেকেন্ড অ্যামেন্ডমেন্ট অর্ডিন্যান্সের খসড়া নীতিগত ও চূড়ান্ত অনুমোদন হয়েছে। আজকে দি প্রোটেকশন অফ অ্যান্ড কনজারভেশন অফ ফিশ ব্র্যাকেটে অ্যামেন্ডমেন্ট অর্ডিন্যান্স 2026-এর খসড়া নীতিগত ও চূড়ান্ত অনুমোদন হয়েছে। 6 নম্বর ছিল ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ম্যারিটাইম অর্গানাইজেশন আইওএম-এর 3টি গুরুত্বপূর্ণ কনভেনশন। 1 নম্বর কনভেনশন হচ্ছে বাংকার কনভেনশন, 2 নম্বর হচ্ছে সিএলসি কনভেনশন, 3 নম্বর হচ্ছে রেগ কনভেনশন। এগুলোর অনুসমর্থনের প্রস্তাব অনুমোদন হয়েছে। লাস্ট যেটা এজেন্ডা ছিল এগ্রিমেন্ট বিটুইন দ্য গভর্নমেন্ট অফ রিপাবলিক অফ আজারবাইজান and the government of People's Republic of Bangladesh on exemption of visa requirements for holders of diplomatic, official and service passport. এই শীর্ষক চুক্তির খসড়া অনুমোদন হয়েছে।
Appeal hearings were held for the 6th consecutive day at the Election Commission for candidates seeking to regain their candidacy in the 13th National Parliamentary election. The hearings were held from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Election Commission Conference Room in Agargaon. On the 6th day of hearings on appeals filed against the decisions of returning officers, a total of 100 appeals numbered from 381 to 480 were scheduled to be heard today. As of before the midday recess today, 51 appeals have been disposed of. Earlier, a total of 380 appeals were disposed of over the past 5 days, and 277 candidates have regained their candidacy. The hearings will continue until January 18. Special Assistant to the Chief Advisor Professor Ali Riaz has said that the country has failed to reach the ideals and promises on which the state was founded. He stated that the July Charter aims to lay the foundation for a future Bangladesh based on justice. He also said that the purpose of holding the referendum is to determine whether the people of the country are prepared to transform the existing system and adopt a new one. However, he noted that the misinformation and false propaganda are being spread regarding the referendum as well. He made these remarks this morning at a divisional Imam conference in the city organized to promote the referendum and motivate voters, highlighting that a referendum is meant to change the system, not individuals. The chief guest, Professor Ali Riaz, said that a referendum was also held 35 years ago, but there are clear differences between that vote and the current one. He said that over the past 16 years, power had been concentrated in the hands of a single individual, with the Constitution facilitating this concentration. The Anti-Corruption Commission was previously used to suppress opposition parties. Special Assistant to the Chief Advisor Monir Haider called for campaigning in favor of a yes vote in the referendum to counter falsehoods, misinformation and propaganda against efforts to restore and rebuild the state. Meanwhile, the government is taking steps to introduce a system of providing salaries to imams and khatibs. Initiatives are also underway to establish a scholarship fund for Islamic scholars and to form a national fatwa board. Special Assistant to the Chief Advisor Professor Ali Riaz said the government employees can campaign for the yes vote. There is no legal obstacle. He said this in a meeting in Chattogram in the afternoon. He also said an opportunity to form an accountable government has come after 54 years. Everyone should utilize this opportunity. Another Special Assistant to the Chief Advisor Monir Haider said that a mafia-like regime was established established in the country in the past 16 years. Now the fallen dictator is spreading propaganda about the referendum. After the Imam rally, Professor Ali Riaz and Munir Haider inaugurated a divisional view exchange meeting at the Chattogram District Stadium in the afternoon. At the event, Professor Ali Riaz called for utilizing the opportunity to change the country received through July mass uprising. Chattogram Divisional Commissioner Dr. Muhammad Ziauddin presided over, while Secretary of the Ministry of Religion Kamaluddin and senior officials of the administration, among others, addressed the meeting. The meeting was attended by government employees, civil society, journalists, and people of various professions of the district and Upazila of Chattogram Division. Voting vehicle super caravan has been inaugurated in front of the CJK Stadium complex in Chattogram city this evening. To implement the July Charter on the occasion of the referendum and the National Parliament election 2026, advisor to the Ministry of Industries and the Ministry of Local Government Adilur Rahman Khan inaugurated the super caravan as a guest to promote the referendum. He said Bangladesh has changed due to the July uprising. The July Charter was signed in Bangladesh by the political parties participating in the mass uprising. The referendum is to implement the July Charter. Our national election will be held at the same time. We have not been able to franchise for 15 years. The situation must be changed. The July Charter must be implemented by voting yes in the referendum, so that no one else in this country is subjected to disappearance, murder, and persecution. Local Ministry Secretary Muhammad Rizal Maqsood Zahidi, Chattogram Divisional Commissioner Dr. Muhammad Ziauddin, Chattogram Deputy Commissioner Muhammad Zahidul Islam Mia, and other concerned officials were also present at the inauguration ceremony. Campaigning in the border district of Brahmanbaria is still lagging slightly behind as the upcoming parliamentary election is knocking the door. Although general voters show interest in the national election, many remain in the dark about the referendum. The main contest in Brahmanbaria district's 6 parliamentary constituencies is expected to be between candidates of the BNP and the Jamaat alliance. However, with the election campaign yet to gain momentum, voters are still waiting on the sidelines. Voters said that despite being unable to reach polling centers in past elections, they are determined to go to the polls on 12 February to vote for their preferred candidates. Voters expressed the hope that whoever comes to power after the election will focus on the district's development and the welfare of its people. They also urged the government to ensure comprehensive security so that voters can cast their ballots freely. Meanwhile, candidates said that they are shaping their campaign strategies in line with public expectations. They believe that the long-standing deprivation of voting rights will be addressed in the election. Known as a city of industry and literature, Brahmanbaria is now grappling with land grabbing, pollution, and a growing drug problem. Voters expect the elected government to give due importance to addressing these issues. The International Crimes Tribunal has ordered January 21 as the date for framing charges against former Prime Minister's ICT Affairs Advisor Shojib Joy and former State Minister for Posts, Telecommunications and Information and Communication Technology Junaid Ahmed Polok in a crimes against humanity case over incitement to genocide, including shutting down the internet during the July-August movement. The order was passed today by the Judicial Panel of Tribunal 1, led by its chairman Justice Muhammad Ghulam Murtuza Mozumdar. Earlier in this case, lawyers for Shojib Joy and Junaid Ahmed Polok presented their arguments seeking their acquittal. Lawyer Liton Ahmed is representing Junaid Ahmed Polok, while state-appointed lawyer Monjur Alam is defending Shojib Wazir Joy, who is absconding in the morning. Junaid Ahmed Polok was produced before the tribunal. Meanwhile, the International Crimes Tribunal has ordered the issuance of arrest warrants against former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal, the former DMP commissioner, the OC of the concerned police station, and the other absconding accused in connection with the shooting death of Ghulam Nafiz in the Farmgate area during the July mass uprising. The Appellate Division on Thursday cleared the way for holding the elections in Pabna 1 and Pabna 2 constituencies on February 12, in accordance with the boundaries specified in the Election Commission's September 4 Gazette. An Appellate Division bench led by Chief Justice Zubair Rahman Chaudhary passed the order. As part of the order, Satya Upazila will constitute Pabna 1 constituencies, while Shujanagar and Bera Upazilas will form Pabna 2. Acting Attorney General Arshadur Rauf, Additional Attorney General Onik R. Haq stood for the EC, while Barrister Imran Abdullah Siddiq and Barrister H.M. Shanjit Siddiq represented Jamaat-e-Islami and BNP respectively. On January 14, the High Court fixed January 15 for hearing on the leave to appeal petition filed challenging the validity of the Gazette issued by the Election Commission EC. On January 10, the Election Commission EC suspended the election in Pabna 1 and Pabna 2 constituencies until further order from the court. The decision was taken in line with an order issued by the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court on January 5 over a dispute regarding the demarcation of the two constituencies. The parliamentary constituencies number 68 Pabna 1 and number 69 Pabna 2. According to an EC circular issued on January 6, the Commission decided to keep the elections scheduled for February 12 in the two constituencies, suspended until further directives from the court. On September 4 last year, the Election Commission published a gazette on the delimitation of the country's 300 constituencies, bringing changes to the boundaries of 46 constituencies, including Pabna 1 and Pabna 2. A citizens' condolence meeting in memory of former Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia will be held tomorrow at the South Plaza of the Jatiyo সংসদ Bhavan. Organized by civil society, the program has been described by the organizers as a dignified and respectful memorial event. Details of the program were shared at a press conference held today at the Krishibid Institution in the capital. Organizers said that the event is not a political party program, but rather a humanitarian initiative by civil society to pay tribute to Begum Khaleda Zia. Organizing Committee Chief Professor Dr. Mahbub Ullah said that distinguished citizens from various professions, intellectuals and individuals who have contributed to society will attend the condolence meeting. He added that although all political parties have been invited, no party representative will deliver speeches at the event. Former Chief Justice Syed J.R. Mudassir Hussain will preside over the condolence meeting. The organizers also confirmed that members of Begum Khaleda Zia's family will be present at the program. Representatives of several foreign missions are also expected to attend the event. Now, international news. Tensions between Iran and the United States have sharply escalated amid ongoing anti-government protests in Iran, raising fears of a possible U.S. military strike. A source said on Wednesday that the situation has reached a point where an attack could take place within the next 24 hours. In response, Iran has warned of retaliatory action. The country's armed forces have been placed on maximum alert and have declared they are fully prepared to resist any aggression. Meanwhile, the death toll from violence linked to the protests in Iran has surpassed 2,500 as the intensity of the demonstrations has declined. Tehran has now begun legal proceedings against detained protesters. In an interview with CBS News on Tuesday, US President Donald Trump said he would take very strong action if Iran carries out death sentences against protesters. An official of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC, Sardar Mosavi, said that Iran's military remains fully prepared to counter any US aggression if Washington moves forward with an attack. At the same time, Iran's parliamentary speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf warned that Tehran would set the entire region on fire if the United States launches strikes. Despite the heightened tensions, the protests that triggered the latest crisis between Tehran and Washington have significantly subsided. Al Jazeera's correspondent in Iran reported that since Monday, anti-government protests have been taking place only on a very limited scale, while pro-government rallies have increased. Thousands of people have also attended funerals in Tehran for security personnel killed during the protests, following Iran's warning of retaliatory attacks on US military bases in the Middle East. The United States has begun relocating some personnel from key bases in the region. A US official speaking to Reuters on condition of anonymity said on Wednesday that the move is a precautionary step amid rising tensions fueled by the exchange of threats between President Trump and Iran's leadership. United States President Donald Trump's special envoy to the Middle East has announced the launch of the second phase of a US-brokered plan to end Israel's genocidal war against Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Steve Witkoff said in a social media post on Wednesday that Trump's 20-point Gaza plan is moving from ceasefire to demilitarization, technocratic governance, and reconstruction. Israel has violated the US-brokered ceasefire more than 1,190 times since it came into effect in October. According to the Gaza government media office, killing more than 400 Palestinians and blocking critical humanitarian aid from entering the enclave. More than 71,400 Palestinians have been killed and more than 171,000 others wounded in Israel's war on Gaza, which began in October 2023.